Hey guys and girls, so this is going to be our first lesson for drum lessons here at LifeChurch. If you're wanting to play, I know Activate plays for the events and stuff like that. So I know that Frankie has done a few things for you, some of you at least. I know a few of you have only had like one lesson. So I figured what we should do is go back to basics. The first being tempo and rhythm. So with drummers, tempo and rhythm is the most important part. If you don't have that down, obviously everything else becomes a lot harder to follow suit. I know that we want to get in there and we want to do like the crazy stuff, but that all comes from the basic tempo and basic rhythm and basic beat within a measure of time. So if you look at a sheet of music, LifeChurch has a lot of sheets of music and services for their different songs. You'll see at the very top it says tempo or something like that, or BPM, which is beats per minute. It'll have a certain number, which would be like 87, 120. It could be a lot of different things, and all that really means is it's beats per minute. So when you put it into a metronome, which you can find on your phone, you can download free apps on your phone. Those you can just put in the signature, the time signature, and it'll click for you. But measures are broken down into usually 4 beats if it's 4/4, or it can be 3/4, which we won't worry about. We're going to start at 4/4 timing. So let's get started. Now, with a 4/4 signature, that means there's 4 beats per measure. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Obviously, that's going to be the time signature for the song. So if you're going into it, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you can go 1, 2, 3, 4. But so we're not going to do that. Like I said on the first episode, we wanted to stick with pads or snare, or if you just have a pot or something to bang on, you just need 2 sticks. And we're going to do a couple warm-ups and a couple practices to keep in rhythm. And more importantly, to get your right and your left, or right and left, to work together. Now, I have a really bad left hand. It can't do near as much as my right. So a lot of times when I'm playing drums, I'll lead with my right, and I'll do a lot of different stuff. If I do like a toms, I usually lead with my right just because my left is so bad. But the way to get those better, and a lot of people are pretty dominant on right or pretty dominant on left, the way to get it better on both is just to practice using both in drills. So our first one is going to be just a simple 4 hits per measure. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's really simple. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do that let's do 2 times through. So 2 full measures, which is 8 hits. Remember, because 4 hits per measure. Now, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, right? But here's how we're going to change it up. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, you might think that that doesn't mean anything and you want to get right to the top hat, but what happens is when you're playing and you're right-handed, the beat needs to stay with the right hand. So if you watch me play drums during church, I'm always keeping time with the top hat with my right hand, and then the offbeats are my left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to stay away from the top hat, but we're going to do it on here. So we're going to go 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, And what we're going to do is we're going to continue to practice that in timing and rhythm. Now, there's a term that drummers use a lot. It's called playing in pocket. What a pocket drummer usually prides themselves in is playing in the theoretical pocket, which means a steady beat that never wavers, and it's always constant. It means playing in the pocket. So even if someone's going crazy on the electric guitar or someone's going crazy on the keys, if you're playing in the pocket, that means you're going to continue to keep that beat, that tempo through it all, no matter what, and they're always going to be able to hear it. So you're playing in the pocket. Now, if you rush it and you get off tempo, or you're lagging behind and you're dragging a little bit, you're not playing in the pocket. The pocket is continually playing within the time signature that music piece is meant to be played in. So I challenge you, we're going to do a few drills here, but play with a metronome. I know it's going to be difficult because you're having to listen to something at the same time as focusing on what your hands are doing. I get that, but if you look, again, when I play drums at church, I was usually always have a earbud or AirPod in my ear. That's not to listen to whatever I want to listen to during church. It's a metronome that's clicking in my ear. Obviously, when we get a new building, we get all the high-tech stuff, everybody will get a metronome. But it's more important for the drummer just because you are setting the tempo, you're setting the pace for the rest of the band. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a few things. I want you just to follow what I do. We're going to always lead in with our right, okay? That being said, because when we lead with our right and we're right-handed, the one is always usually going to be with the right hand, no matter what our left hand is doing. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Get what I mean? So lead with the right. We're going to do 2 quarter notes. All the quarter note is just a beat, essentially, and a 1/4 time or a 4/4 time. So a quarter note is 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if you go, I think it's eighth notes, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're hitting 2 beats per beat, if that makes, or you're hitting down twice per beat. I guess it would look better if you look up on sheet music or something like that. But anyways, we're not going to get there yet. We're going to do quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and then we're going to add our left hand doing the 2 and the 4. Now watch and listen. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you saw that in the middle there I used just quarter notes without my left hand. That's what I want you to do, but we're going to speed it up a little bit. Now try it first. Let's do it slow. Try it first so you know what we're doing. We're going 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Now we're going to speed it up. We're going to go a little faster. Play it with me. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you notice, I don't know if you can tell on camera or not, my right leg is kicking with it. It's going up and down. I'm trying not to hit the bass drum, but a lot of times your bass drum is usually 1 and 3, and then a lot of times your 2 and 4 is snare. That can change, and in a lot of songs sometimes it's different, but for beginner's sake we're going to do that, but not yet. So if you see my leg going, you can still go with your leg, maybe hit every quarter note with it. Maybe mentally that'll help you. For me, I think it's just I'm used to it, but either way. So let's do that drill again. We're going to go a little quicker, at the same tempo actually. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It seems easy, and if it's easy for you, that's great. You're where you need to be. But what I'm looking at more importantly is tempo and rhythm. So are you consistent with your beats? Are you speeding up or are you slowing down when you're hitting it? Like I said, if you're using a metronome, it's really going to be more obvious if you're getting off tempo because the metronome is going to be different than what you're playing. But for me, I don't have a metronome right now. I can tell I'm kind of speeding up a little bit. Maybe it's just anxiety and nerves doing my first video. But keep that in mind, because if you can keep rhythm and tempo, a lot of times, even if you mess up playing a service or something like that, and I'll mess up a lot, you're going to hear all the mess ups now, the more lessons we get into and the more I play at church. As long as you keep rhythm or you really tempo, even if you mess up, you can get back on track because you know where you're at in the beats or you know where you're at in your notes. It's a lot more simple to do it that way. So one more time, let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Easy, right? Okay, so let's speed it up a little bit more. What we're going to do is we're going to try to keep that pace going, not speeding it up or not slowing it down. So let's go a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so practice that at home. I know it's really simple, but if you can keep tempo and time, that's exactly what I want you to do. Because everything else, like I said, all of that comes with practice. But if you have the basis of, and what we're learning here, we can adapt to our top hat and our snare. So remember the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. All you're doing is you're moving your right hand up to the top hat and doing the exact same thing. So really it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll add it, the bass pedal, is you got to beat. Because if you have that down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You hear that the bass pedal is on the 1 and the 3, and the snare is on the 2 and the 4. But if you notice, my right hand is hitting every quarter note. Every note, my right hand's hitting. So we're learning it. I know we're not on the full drum set yet. We're staying on the snare or the practice pad. But everything we're learning on the practice pad this lesson is going to transfer to the top hat and the bass pedal and everything else. Cymbals and all that jazz is just fun stuff that you add to add dynamic to. But really, the core of a drummer, especially a worship drummer in church, is to keep in pocket towards your beat and your rhythm, mainly with the top hat and snare. And bass pedal, obviously. These three is the main important part of a drummer. So, all right, let's change it up. Let's change our drills a little bit. We're going to do right and left hand. We're going to switch it off. So we're leaning in with our right. The 1 is going to be right. The 2 is going to be left. The 3 is going to be right, and the 4 is going to be left. So every quarter note is going to be a different hand. So let's do a medium tempo. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I know that's really simple, and most people can do that. But we're going to speed it up, and we're going to keep it to a metronome or a tempo. I'm just keeping it in my head. I don't have the metronome on me right now. Next lesson, I'll keep one on me, and we'll be more impactful that way. But let's do it a little quicker. So let's go 1, 2. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. seems really simple. But if you keep it to a metronome, you can sometimes, if you're not really listening to it, you can sometimes get off your tempo. So I know it's really basic, and you're just going to look at me and say, Justin, come on, I want to learn all the fun stuff. But listen to a metronome. Every hit, every quarter note, every tick, make sure it's on 4/4, make sure that it's clicking every quarter note. But listen to the click. And if the click is hitting when the snare is hitting, you know that you're on tempo. But if you keep going, and all of a sudden the tick is, and it's off, then you know that you're not keeping tempo. But subjectively, what will happen is the more you listen and the more you correct yourself during practice and the more you get back on tempo, the more you'll realize that when you get that metronome taken away, you will be more inclined to listen to the beat and know where you're at and not rush or not lag. The most frustrating thing, especially for a bassist, I feel like, for a lot of people that play bass, is a drummer that either speeds it up or slows it down, because a lot of times when you drive, the bass drives, and usually you're hitting the same notes or hits, and sometimes it can throw you off. So that being said, tempo and rhythm is so important. Now, before you practice, there are some things that you should probably know. How do you hold the stick? Now, I know that there's a lot of different things you can look up online on how to hold a stick. Jazz players, a lot of times, they'll play like this. Obviously, we're not playing jazz, and it's very difficult to do it that way. Some people like to choke up on the things. Now, obviously, not this far, but I mean, they like to be pretty far up when they play. I feel like that just restricts a lot. And then some people will play where the stick is almost, I mean, not even being held in the full palm of your hand. That's not necessarily right either. A good way to look at it is, for me at least, when I hold it, I hope you can see that, where my palm ends, usually I like my stick to end. So that's just more of a comfortable place for me. Now, you can learn or play yourself and try to find a different position that works better for you, but I have found that it works a lot better for me when I choke up on it to where the end of the stick hits the end of my palm. Now, I mean, maybe a little less, maybe like more towards like, maybe not quite to the end of my palm, but yeah, that's pretty comfortable. So like right there, obviously I've played long enough to where I don't really think about how I'm holding it, because I always just hold it the way I've always held it. But just for those that don't know. Now, with drums, we got down the rhythm, we got that on the tempo, and what I want you to do is I want you to practice that a lot. I mean a lot, and it might get annoying to people at home. It might be annoying because you're hitting the same beat over and over again. But make sure your metronome is loud enough. If it's not loud, if you can't get it loud enough without disrupting everybody, just put it in your ear, wear some AirPods or wear some earphones or something like that, and just listen to the tick when you're playing. Don't get off, because if you're getting off, then you realize that you have some work to do to try to get back on. Now, are you ever going to make a mistake? Of course you are. A lot of times in fast songs especially, I don't have as much problem in slow songs with dragging like some people do, but fast songs, a lot of times I'll catch myself. Sometimes I get excited or I get anxious because I know that there's a part coming up that I'm not necessarily comfortable with, and I will subjectively just kind of in my mind tick a little bit faster, and I get off and I get a little quick, and then the singers are turning around at me and like looking at me. But that's why it's so important to listen and be on your time signature and be within the clicks, play in pocket, and I know you can do it. I obviously have faith in all of you guys, so play with that. All right, now we're going to get to eighth notes, and this is the last thing I want to do. I know this isn't a really long one, but these are just the basics that I want you to learn. Change it up. You know, I gave you obviously the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 drill. Speed it up as much as you want. If you can play it faster and stay on tempo, just just all you do is take the metronome and turn it up some beats, and you'll hear the click go a little quicker. Great. The faster you can play and still stay on tempo, the more it's going to make you comfortable with playing fast. A lot of times, I'm not necessarily as comfortable playing fast as some other drummers. I like playing slow because I like to do fills and stuff, and I'm more comfortable with it. But I challenge myself a lot of times to go fast because that's kind of my weak point when I start speeding up really quick. Boom chucks, the old style, the style Lil G's playing for Christmas, that stuff is like my kryptonite. Boom chucks and the older songs where everything is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That kind of stuff is my kryptonite, and a lot of times that's something I need to work on. But it's literally just playing quickly and maybe even pushing myself to go a little bit faster with the metronome, so we're not going faster and slower than what we want to play, but to challenge myself to make these hands go a little quicker. And you'll realize that when you're going right and left, right, left, right, left, right, left, and your left is slower than your right, a lot of times your left can't keep up. And that comes with just practice. And if you get frustrated and we're playing and we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and all of a sudden you hear your left hand dragging before your right, so it's going to be hard to do it, but let's go. You can't really hear it, but I'm kind of slowing down on my left. You're not hitting the same beats, the same time signature, and that just comes with practice. So these drills that we play, like eighth notes, so let's do eighth notes. So let's do a 4-time signature, so 1, 2, 3, 4, but let's just do it with the right. Let's keep the left away. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, that seems easy to you or it seems difficult. Either way, it just needs to be practiced, because with 8 notes, a lot of times your right hand's doing it a lot of times, especially when you first start out, because it's either on the top hat, you're either doing, see what my right's doing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm doing 4, 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you're switching it up to the symbol like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's very important to practice your eighth notes. So we're going to practice 8 notes. Here's a couple drills you can do. So right hand only, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, or 1, 2, 3, or 1 and. Yeah, that's right. So it's been a while since I've done drumming lessons. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And there's another and. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So essentially all you're doing is there's a 4 beats in a measure, 1, 2, 3, 4, but you're doing 8 notes or 8 hits within that measure. So really you're doing a 1 and, 2 and, 3 and, 4 and. So let's just do right hand only. Just follow me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Practice that at home. Just over and over with the metronome, and you'll get it down. Now let's do left hand. If I mess up, it's because my left hand is pathetic. It's really bad. So let's try it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, I surprised myself. So do that. Right hand, left hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now don't miss the and like I did. So do 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay? And then just keep doing that. Rotate back and forth until you're comfortable enough to do it to a faster tempo. Then bump up the tempo, go a little quicker, and do it again until you're comfortable with it. Then bump up the tempo, do it again until you're comfortable with it. Then maybe slow it back down, do it again until you're comfortable with it. And just keep messing with the time, keep messing with the thing, but make sure you're hitting your beats when the tempo's going on. Okay? That's real simple. And then what you can do for your final lesson, we're going to just do trade-offs 8 notes. So instead of doing 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that obviously I rushed that. So let's do a 4 count or a 4 hit and then an 8 hit and then a 4 hit and then an 8 hit. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I messed up that first time, but the rest of it, just pay attention to that. Then you can speed it up. And for some of that stuff, you'll find that when you speed it up, it's a little easier because you're not thinking about it as much. You just know that there's a rhythm. And if it's easier for it, it just means that you can hear what needs to happen, and that's good. So let's speed it up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Obviously I need practice too, and so me teaching you is going to teach myself, and I'm going to get back to basics, and I'm going to be way better than I was before. It's been a long time since I've hit the basics, so I know that's really simple. It's probably not what you're wanting to hear. You're wanting the crazy stuff like that. That will come. Just be patient, and most importantly, work on your rhythm and your tempo. Okay? Now, obviously, there's going to be practices, one-on-ones that I want to do with you guys to be able to see myself and get some one-on-one training. If, for whatever reason, you're doing a lesson and it's very difficult for you, it's just not grabbing you, you can do 1 or 2 things, okay? Number 1, you can text or call me, even FaceTime me. FaceTiming might even be better so I can see what you're doing and we can sit down together and work on it over the phone. Or you can catch me before or after church and come up to me real quick, and if there's something simple that I can just show you right away, I'll show you right before or after church. Okay? I know this is not what we're expecting that we're going to be learned this way, and I hope I can show you the best that I can. Like I said, I only took some courses when I first started, but a lot of it was just self-taught. But in all honesty, once you get the core of it, it's practice, 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 practice. And the more you practice, the more comfortable you get. And when you become more comfortable with the basics, the rest of it is 100 times, and trust me, 100 times easier to pick up and add into your rhythm or your beat. Okay? So that's the first lesson. There's going to be a lot more, and I'm going to be getting a better setup and think through this a little bit more with more intense and maybe intermediate or even advanced, eventually, drills and stuff we can do to learn more. So practice those few things. Practice your quarter notes. Practice your eighth notes. Remember, switch hands. I did a few lessons throughout the video. If you need to rewind to look back and see what I did, great. Okay? So be in prayer, most importantly. Pray before each practice if you want. Let God be the one that steers your hands, and I guarantee you, if it's a real passion of yours and you really want to do it for God, God will bless it, and you'll be in the middle of playing, and God will move, and it'll be a wonderful, beautiful thing. And to tell you the truth, you just play better. You might not hit every beat, but when you feel God's presence and you're doing it for Him, every little bit just feels a lot better. So God bless you. Can't wait to hear from you guys. Call me if you need me. And we'll talk later. Peace.